Two nerds went to college and found each other in the English department basement and became instant friends. 8 years and 3 degrees later, they're reunited. You're listening to Book Club, the movie, the podcast.
Shall we get into it?
Yeah, let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
All right, so I'll start with a synopsis.
Okay.
Cheryl Strayed, brilliant author, brilliant person, top 10 icon for me personally. Anyway, so Wild. In this book, she explores major themes like grief, poverty, addiction a little bit, maybe comically, like her feet are a big part and her like foot health.
Her feet are their own character.
Yeah, they kind of are. The book is nonfiction. It's memoir. Memoir is different from personal essays because memoir focuses a lot on memories. With it being nonfiction, we get two writers, right? We get the writer who experienced the thing, and then we get the writer at the desk who's reflecting back on the thing and giving us wisdom and insight. And it's Cheryl Strayed, so it's beautiful wisdom and insight.
And also funny wisdom and insight. I think she's hilarious.
She is hilarious. She's a goofball a little bit, but also will break your heart. And she'll do that in the same sentence.
Mm-hmm.
So the book covers the loss of her mother due to cancer when her mother was 45. So that's pretty young. And then it covers kind of the few years after that, more briefly, but just how she handled that grief and loss. And then she put her mind to something. She decided she was going to hike the Pacific Crest Trail, or rather, a large section of the Pacific Crest Trail. And that was going to help her get back to herself and who she was supposed to be, and someone who her mother could be proud of. Because in the 4 years after her mother passed, she
struggled.
She struggled a lot. She wrecked her marriage with her first husband, and by cheating on him several times, she fell into using heroin. So, drugs, infidelity. It seems like she dropped out of school, although I think she later did finish school. That wasn't in the book. I just know that from everywhere else that I follow her.
That didn't sound creepy at all.
I really just want to be her friend and have some soup with her because I really like soup and I really like Cheryl Strayed. What did I miss, Em?
That pretty much covers it because it's a lot of walking. The book involves a whole bunch of walking. That's the overarching theme, is that she is taking a very long walk and figuring herself out along the way.
Yeah. So it's a great book. It's really not that long, it's a little over 300 pages, but it flies by.
So the director, what else has he done?
Yeah, so the director is Jean-Marc Vallée. I think I'm saying that right. Apologies if I've messed up his last name. But so he also directed Big Little Lies and Sharp Objects, which are both HBO series. And I got the same vibes from Wild while watching Wild that I did. He has a style.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know enough about film probably to be able to be it's the post-colonial style or whatever. But it's him. It definitely has his signature on it. I also love that Big Little Lies has Laura Dern in it.
Love Laura Dern.
Right? And she's
much.
in Wild. She plays the mother / mother's name is Bobby. So I guess if she likes working with a director, she's going to work with a director. So she's Laura Dern. She can do what she wants.
Directors have their actors that they just like to work with for everything.
True.
So.
Yeah. And you read a little bit about his style for things, about the lighting on set, most of it was filmed with natural lighting.
I read about it for this movie specifically.
Right.
I think if it was outdoors, it was natural light. I don't think they really used any other light sources for anything that happened outdoors during the daytime. So that sounds a little bit tedious to try to do that in the Pacific Northwest if you're looking for sunny days.
We certainly have our rainy, gross days. So, Wild was published in March of 2012, right? And then Cheryl Strayed also published another extremely successful book of nonfiction, although not quite memoir, I would say. It's hard to characterize, actually, but her other nonfiction book was published in July of 2012. It's titled Tiny Beautiful Things, and it's essentially letters sent into the Dear Sugar column on The Rumpus, and then she was Sugar for many years, and it was her responses to that, to those letters.
Is that one that you sent me?
The book? I mean, I wouldn't put it past me to gift a Cheryl Strayed book to someone, especially you.
Well, funny that you say that. Let me just show you. The stamp in my book.
In your Wild book? Is that where my copy went?
I don't know where it came from.
You bitch.
I don't know why I have it.
I don't know why either.
Why do I have it?
I had to buy a new copy. I was like, I've read this book. Why would I give it away?
My dumbass just realized that the stamp was there because I think you even asked me about it a long time ago. You even said like, "Hey, do you know where my copy of Cheryl of Wild went?" And I said no because I was looking at this page, the title page, where the stamp should go, and that's not where the stamp was. It was literally one page before.
I didn't want to fuck up the title page.
I know, but that's where it goes, and like you can even see it. You can even see it through the paper, and I still didn't see it. I looked at it and I'm like, no, I don't remember buying this at all. I don't know where it came from. I don't know why it's on my bookshelf. I love Cheryl Strayed. I would like to finish this book one day, and I have no idea where it came from. Turns out it's yours. I don't think I stole it.
I don't think you would steal it. Let's put your mind at ease. I'm pretty certain I was like, this book is amazing. Please read it. Borrow it. Here you go. I probably didn't like gift it to you.
No, I don't think you would. I have a couple of books I think that you did gift to me, and they do have your stamp in them.
Yeah.
But I know that those were gifted, and I don't even remember which ones they were.
Well, yeah.
I think like H is for Hawk. It was like stuff from your MFA.
Yeah, those are books. Yeah. I was like, this was great. I'm probably never going to read you again, though, because I had such a hard time reading you in the MFA program. I don't want to relive that. Wild, I probably would have kept. But
yeah,
it's all good.
Well, like I remember even like reading this last week, and I was like, "Oh, somebody already made notes in this." And like I even, oh God, on which? I was in the gifted program, but not for my common sense.
Oh my God.
Oh, where are we?
So we haven't talked about Nick Hornby. So Nick Hornby wrote the screenplay for Wild. And the fun fact about him is that he is also an author. He wrote Fever Pitch, High Fidelity, and About a Boy, among other books. And I think all three of those, Fever Pitch, High Fidelity, and About a Boy, have been made into movies. So Nick Hornby, we're coming for you. You'll be on an episode in the future. So yeah, I mean, you know, he wrote the screenplay. I think he stuck pretty close to the source content, to the memoir. That's, you know, well done. Well done, chap. I think he's British.
It felt like a really good, I think it was a really good representation of the book.
I think so too. Yeah.
I mean, there were a lot of differences, but
right, you know,
because of the format, it had to be.
And then, of course, the lead actor and one of the producers was Reese Witherspoon.
Actually, yeah. So Reese Witherspoon was the lead actor in it, and also the producer. This was the first movie that her production company actually made, Hello Sunshine, which I think she sold Hello Sunshine a few years ago.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, she doesn't own it anymore. And Hello Sunshine is actually a production company with a focus on stories by women about women,
Yeah.
to kind of break up the industry a little bit,
Which I think we can totally get behind that.
obviously. But Cheryl actually sent an advanced copy of Wild to Reese Witherspoon before it was even published. And she did this because if there was ever going to be a movie made of Wild, she wanted Reese Witherspoon to be the actor to play her, which originally I didn't know this. I'm glad that I found it because I was getting very suspicious. I'm like, how in the hell was she able to have a best-selling book in this month and then seemingly just 12 months later now it's this Oscar-nominated movie?
I think the movie came out in 2014.
It was just immediately after, whenever it was. But no, it's because Cheryl did her homework and is a go-getter. So she went and got her. And Reese Witherspoon read it and was like, yeah, dibs. And then immediately got the rights to it to produce the movie.
That's awesome.
It's just cool. It's like, get it. Awesome.
Yeah. No, it looks like the movie was released December 5th, 2014. So we're looking at like a year and a half, give or
Which
take.
is nothing.
A year and 8 months from the book coming out to the movie being released. So that's a wild time. Way to go, Cheryl.
Yeah.
Way to just go after what you want.
I'm sure that she had help from her publicist and her agent and everything
All the people.
too. I'm sure.
Also, not to mention her husband, her second husband, her now husband, Brian Lindstrom, like he's a documentarian, like he's in the film industry. So I'm sure even like her husband was like, you should send a copy out to the people you like. Like if you want this made into a movie, it's a great movie topic, It is kind of interesting that like he didn't direct it, but also he's not that kind of director. So
I mean, I wouldn't want Jason to direct my movie, I don't think. Depending.
that's fair. I wouldn't want Adam to direct mine, but also he's not, bless his heart, he's not a creative. He's a science boy. Great cast. I mean, honestly, not that big of a cast. Like not that many people. Yes, there were like a lot of, I guess, small roles throughout, but just a lot of Reese Witherspoon. Love her. And then, I was content with the amount of Laura Dern. Would have been happy with more.
Love Laura Dern.
Glad there wasn't less, but I love Laura Dern. She's great. And Laura Dern in like overalls, adorable.
Laura Dern in Jurassic Park with the cargo shorts and the boots.
That's a look.
So Jen, you have actually met Cheryl Strayed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to tell me about that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Life level unlock. Okay, so yes, I met Cheryl Strayed June 2023 in Astoria, Oregon. She came for the premiere showing of a theatrical version of Tiny Beautiful Things. The play was put on at the 1015 Productions Theater in Astoria, and the director of the play was a friend from the MFA program. She was a fiction student. Her name's Deanna Duplechain. She's a brilliant director, awesome writer. So she's had a few careers, and like I'm pretty sure she's directed like Broadway shows. Like she's the real deal. Deanna's incredible. Just like what they did with the set and the actors were amazing. It was just a gorgeous, gorgeous, amazing production. It was a sold out show. It was a tiny theater, but it was sold out because the word got out that Cheryl Strayed was going to be there in person. So anyway, we all had dinner with Deanna before the production. Then Deanna was like, will you guys go get Cheryl from the hotel and then walk her over to the theater? Because it was like a block and a half. And we were like, sure. Or at least I was. I think Sierra and Ben were like, yeah, whatever, it's fine. And I was like, oh my God, could I please do that?
I won't be weird at all, I promise. I'll be totally normal.
The entire time I was like, don't be weird. Don't be weird. Be cool. Be cool. Be cool. Like, anyway, so yeah. Me and Sierra and Ben, we walk over to the hotel and we wait in the lobby and we tell the receptionist, like, hi, or the front desk attendant, hi, we're here for Cheryl Strayed. we don't want to be that like loud about it or whatever. And then we just hang out. We're just chill. Oh, and Deanna also had a friend visiting from out of town. She was with us too. I don't remember her name though. She lives in Texas. That's what I remember about her. She wasn't a writer or anything, but she was just visiting. I mean, that's pretty big for Deanna. I don't know. Felt big.
Yeah.
So yeah, Cheryl comes down. She's in the elevator. She comes out and she's like, "Hi," just normal person. And I'm like, "Oh my God." Internally, and I'm just like, "Hello," and she shakes all of our hands, and I'm like, "Fuck, I shouldn't have had my hands in my pockets because they're like too warm, right? Like they're the wrong temperature." um, and so bless her heart. I mean, she didn't do or say anything, and it's not like that they were like what, but they were like approaching wetness. I'm sure she's shaked worse hands in her life, but she's she shakes her hands and we're like, "Hi, how are you? How you doing?" And she's like, "Good. Shall we go?" And so then we walk. We walk over there and it's just casual conversation. Honestly, we talk about Deanna a bit. I don't know, we're kind of like, not that we need to hype up Deanna, but like that's what we're talking about. We're there to talk about the play.
Yeah.
We're not there to talk about Cheryl so much. So that's what we do. And I'm just like, oh my God, I have your book in my purse and I want you to sign it.
You were being a weird little fangirl, and I totally get it.
But I'm not going to ask you to do that because that's shitty. And you're just another person and you're trying to enjoy this night because it's an opening night and it's close enough to home that you could drive here and, the hotel room was donated for you. And I'm sure you brought your husband, like, and you just want to get back to him or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, we walk her over. She meets a few people in the front lobby area. Then we sit down. The play starts, and the play is heartbreaking. It's heart-wrenching. And it goes into like Cheryl was sexually assaulted, right? And so like the entire time I'm watching this, I'm thinking about like, oh my God, is this uncomfortable for her? Is this weird? I'm sure she's used to it by now. I mean, she's a nonfiction writer. She's a memoirist. She's got her whole life out there.
I feel like that's just part of memoir in general. Like, you make the decision to use parts of yourself
Right.
for your art. We know this.
Right.
We've done it, not to her magnitude.
Right.
Yet, hopefully.
Not with that level of audience. But then to see it turned into a play and be watching that live with other people around you who are all like, what's she doing? Long story short, she's the only person who brought tissues in our row. So she just gave us all tissues, which was awesome. So yeah, she was great. We all cried, like a lot. And I mean, again, Tiny Beautiful Things deals a lot with like grief. That's a common theme in her work, I think, because she's had a lot of grief in her life. And so like at that point, like my grief journey with losing my dad was still like, it was fresher than I'm feeling today right now,
Yeah.
or even while I was reading this book. But
you're able to talk about it now, which I think is a good marker.
Talk about it without crying. And
yeah.
Incredible. Pat on the back. Thank you to my therapist. Anyway, after the play, Cheryl's invited on stage to do a live interview with questions both from the moderator and from the audience. And the moderator, like the lowdown dish on her, she's like a local author, like children's book author. And she's published a lot of children's books, so some might say prolific children's book author. I've never heard of her. I'm also not a child anymore. And I have no children like actively in my life, really, day to day. But she went to VCFA, and we know a shitload of people who went to VCFA. So that's like where she got her MFA and everything. And she might even teach a class or two, or, somehow be connected still with VCFA. She's the one who spilled the beans to everyone that Cheryl Strayed was going to be there in person, so that like she could get more clout or something. Like she posted that online.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And she also was like, let's do a book signing. And they were like, no, Cheryl's coming here to watch the play.
Yeah.
She's not coming here to sign books.
Oh my gosh.
So that's why I didn't have her sign my book. Or ask her to, even though I'm sure she would have.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to be about it. Anyway, so, she I don't think she asked very good questions in the interview, but also my view of her was tainted. I'll admit that. But I do remember some people from the audience were trying to like stump Cheryl, is what it felt like. There was one person in the audience who asked something along the lines of like, so why did you agree to do an anonymous advice column and then turn around and publish it, like not anonymously? And her response to that was just like, well, I was always intending to publish it. I was never going to do it for free without any recognition.
It's like, hey, writer lady, why did you write this and use it as written word? Why did you word it so that we could read it, writer lady? And she's
Right.
like, because I'm a writer lady, you dumbass.
I'm a writer lady. That's what I do. That's my job.
What
That's
I
my
do.
profession. But it was actually in that interview where she connected the dot for me, or I mean, I don't know. She talked about how she got this deal at 𝘞𝘪𝘭𝘥 for Wild, and then like essentially turned around and was like, hey, I also have another book. We should publish that too. And her, you know, publicist, editing, whatever team was like, Cheryl, you can't publish 2 books in the same year because one book's going to steal the other book's thunder. Like, what the fuck? Like, you can't do that. And she was like, I don't care. Do it. We're doing it. Let's do it. You know, not like in a diva way, but just like that. They're ready. Let's go.
Yeah.
So that's why Wild was published in March, and then Tiny Beautiful Things was published in July. Is she was just like,
she's like, I am Cheryl fucking Strayed. It'll be fine.
Well, I think it coincided with like how she like revealed her identity or something on the rumpus. Again, when this happened, I was too young to like be following it, I guess. Probably not too young to have been following it because it would have been when I was like in high school. But I wasn't in tune with it then. And so like in tune with the Rumpus Dear Sugar article. So Dear Sugar column, I should say. So wasn't following it, but apparently when she would like go into the 𝘞𝘪𝘭 offices for like Wild meetings, like all the interns would be whispering like, that's Dear Sugar, you know, like they all knew about it. Anyway, so yeah, she was lovely. She was brilliant. We cried together. I was one person away from her, so we didn't like brush elbows or anything. She was just like so classy and elegant, and even when people were trying to be bitches and stump her with mean questions, she was just
I don't understand wanting to be mean to somebody. That I don't get it. I don't.
Yeah.
And I can be very mean. I try to keep that in check because it doesn't feel good. But I don't get, why would you want to do that? Why
would you want to do that to Cheryl Strayed of all people?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I would want to be mean to any writer. I don't think, because it's such a vulnerable thing. And if I ever get the chance to like talk about my writing in a public setting that's not at a writing retreat in Missouri, if I ever get that chance, I would really hope that people wouldn't be mean to me, especially if it's like memoir or anything like that's not straight up fiction. Even in fiction, because I feel like all of my fiction stuff is still nonfiction-ish. At least it's adjacent to it. It's some kind of hybrid thing. So I would just really, really hope to God that they wouldn't be mean to me while I'm on stage, because if you want me to say some really awkward, out of pocket shit, try to make me feel embarrassed, because I'll do it.
Yeah.
I will give you not the sound bite that you were looking for, but it will be a sound bite.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was great. It was grand. And then after the play was over, the same little group of us plus Deanna, we walked Cheryl we escorted her back to her hotel. And outside the front door, she was just like, you all behaved extremely well. And you could be author escorts. Like, you could be the people who like pick the author up from the airport and take them to all the events and make sure that they have their water and their latte. And I was like, she was like, you could put that on your resumes. And we were like, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's funny because in the book, actually, whenever she was sitting, after she like got the heavily discounted Snapple lemonade, and she was sitting out behind the store, and just people were coming up and just talking to her about it. And a woman literally told Cheryl, "Oh, you need to put this on your resume whenever you're done. Like, this is the kind of thing that it shows that you have character. Recruiters and stuff love that." So that's really funny. But basically, how I take it, basically what she was telling you by her saying that you guys should be author escorts. You should be the donkey that keeps the racehorse calm. Basically, what she was saying was, you guys didn't creep me out at all.
I know.
You felt totally normal. So you faked it really good. You didn't let her see how weird you were feeling inside at all.
Internally. I kept it all internal and kept my cool. She probably didn't even know that I admire her so much. And she's, I can hope and dream she'll listen to this episode someday and be like, oh, I would have signed her book.
Oh.
So, Em, do you think that the friendships that Cheryl made on the trail have the same impact in the movie as they did in the book?
Not at all.
Okay.
And for time's sake, this movie could have been 10 hours long. It could have been 3 hours long. They kept it 5 minutes under 2. It was still a decent length movie. So there was no way they were going to be able to introduce the relationships in the movie like they were in the book. It just wasn't going to happen. Also because there wasn't like an overarching narration. Like there was no, or there wasn't enough of Cheryl's like inner monologue happening in order to make those work. It would have been weird. I don't think audiences who hadn't read the book would have watched her meeting and becoming friends with these people and understood it or gotten anything from it. I don't think it would have translated well, period. But I kind of wish that they'd done a little bit more with it. Because camaraderie, connection, all of that, it's a really big thing on through hikes. I know quite a few people, they haven't done the PCT, but they have done like the Appalachian Trail. And they made like a couple of lifelong friends on there, which I think is a little bit more rare. Like you don't talk to the people that you met at day camp, or at sleepaway camp forever. But while you're there and while you're seeing these same people and you all have the same goal, you're all doing the same weird thing together, you become friends with them very quickly. That's just how it happens. That's the culture of it, of most outdoor activities, I would say. Like there's a level of connection that just happens whether you want it to or not. Actually, whenever I was on Reddit looking at things, one person said, like, I tried very hard to keep this individual and to not make friends, and it did not work. So even whenever it's against what you set out to do, you meet people.
Yeah.
And you do make connections whether you want it or not. It just happens. And she even tries to hike alone, and she still ends up doing some sections of it with other people, and that doesn't happen in the movie.
Yeah, she doesn't really hike with anyone in the movie.
Not really.
Or
and I think part of that,
frog with them,
Yeah. And I think part of that, too, is that the movie was trying to really depict her isolation, because that's a really common theme. Like she wasn't doing so hot in her life. She'd lost her mother. She'd lost or messed up her relationship failed. So she didn't have her husband, and she had a toxic relationship. And so they definitely got the feeling of isolation down. Right. That was absolutely present in the movie. And I think that was an important theme. But yeah, they didn't show any of the trail buddies that she made, and she made quite a few.
They showed a couple, but literally only a couple. Like we got to keep Greg. We did meet one female hiker. I can't remember what name the movie gave her, but I think they sort of like rolled Stacy and Trina into kind of one composite character that represented like there weren't that many women on the trail. She met one woman, and she met a couple women, and then other women who were part of couples in what she included in the book. Not to mention that there were more people that she met along the trail who weren't in the book at all. So
Yeah.
a lot of people got cut from the story in general. This is why I want to sit down with her, have a big pot of soup, have some tea on the stove, getting ready for our dessert. It's a dessert tea. I don't know. And I want to hear about all the people on the trail and all of the things.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You want every single detail.
I want
all
it
of it.
I want it all. I'd like to read the journals. No, I'm just kidding. That's a little creepy. Anyway.
I think you and I are a little bit different in that we want the boring details also, because
The boring details are exciting. I don't know. They're not boring.
They're so exciting. I want to know all of the connections. What was the thought process behind this sentence?
Right.
Like all of that. I think we're definitely, and this is going to happen anytime that a memoir, or really all the books, we're reading it as writers, I think, and that changes it just a little bit. Like the background knowledge that we know is there and we would like to have.
Totally.
So it's a little bit different. But I think the movie was trying to show more of the isolation instead of her being like, oh my gosh, I'm so lonely.
Right. Right.
They didn't want that part to be super expositional. And I think it did a really good job of showing how isolated she was.
Oh, yeah. She's like super isolated the entire time.
Very isolated the entire freaking time until she finally gets to Portland or wherever. But again, trail buddies, the companionship and the camaraderie and the we're all doing this alone but also together thing. At several of the stops, there's the free box where you can leave things that you don't need behind. And that's actually how she got like her ski pole.
Mm-hmm.
She had planned to leave her boots, her old boots behind, and that didn't work out. But, she does hike alone through most of the book, but she did become comfortable with a lot of people on the trail. And then she was sad whenever she realized, like, I'm never going to see these people again.
Yeah.
She was a little bit sad, but that's just how it happens.
Right. Well, and the great thing about writing like a bestseller and then it gets made into a major motion picture is I think some of the people came back into her life later on. Like not significant roles in her life, but the equivalent of popping back onto the trail.
Like I found one article on, it was the pcta.org, and it was I am Greg, and it was, his name wasn't really Greg, I think it was Roger, but he wrote about how he met Cheryl and everything, and there's like photos of him and Ed the trail angel and just a whole bunch of really cool stuff. So yeah, it's neat. So what do you think about the interiority from the book into the movie? How do you think the movie did of keeping that going? It was a memoir. We were in her head.
Right. I think it's really hard to translate memoir into film, right? Because memoir's so intimate and personal and interior. And it's hard to do that in an interesting way in a movie, I think. But I think that they pulled it off. I mean, we kept some of the quotes that Cheryl includes at the beginning of different sections. And kind of throughout the book. And the quotes are incorporated in interesting ways. They're either included in the trail register, or we hear them like read aloud, kind of like in an over, what's it called? An over voiceover. That's the word.
I wasn't sure what you were describing.
I was like, the over's in it.
I was like, overlay,
overcast, overlaid, kind of, a voiceover read aloud by Reese.
She reads aloud some of them as she's like writing them in the trail register, which I don't think she wrote them in the trail register in the book. She just wrote her name.
I don't know. I don't know. She doesn't.
I thought it was clever
in the book.
Whether or not it really happened.
Writing about the things, but isn't it like there's somebody who's like Cheryl Strayed, and then they quote something back to her?
I remember that happening in the movie. I don't remember if it happened in the book.
Yeah.
Did it?
I don't know. Anyway,
I only remember her writing her name. Either way, if they just added it in the movie so that they could still have the quotes that were included in the book at the section breaks, I think that was really neat.
Yeah, I think it worked.
They did a good job.
I think it worked, cool. And it's a bunch of small details that they were able to figure out a way to keep, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Because the quotes are, intentional, obviously, and they're important in the book. So it's great that they were
Yeah.
able to keep some of them in the movie. Do you think that we had way more interiority at the beginning of the movie and then it waned?
Oh, absolutely.
And like,
Yeah.
why do you think they did that?
I don't know, because I really wanted to stay in her head for a lot more of the movie, because at the beginning, whenever she realized that she had the wrong fuel for her camp stove and it wasn't going to work, and so she was eating cold mush,
Mm-hmm.
and we got a lot of like her thoughts in that period of time in the Mojave, whenever she was like, I like cold mush, I'm not craving hot mush or whatever, this is great, I'm
Right.
happy, and we got a lot of that. And the first time I watched the movie, I was like, oh, this is awesome. I hope we continue to have a whole bunch of her thoughts, because otherwise it's going to be a very quiet movie. That was what I was hoping. And then she gets her camp stove fixed, and now she has hot mush and things are good. And it's almost like that part of her just kind of goes away. It's like she stops craving food once her stove is working, and that's not how it happened in the book at all.
No.
She was constantly craving like burgers and fries and lemonade and just literally anything else throughout the whole book. Like, the book made me hungry.
Right.
Like, yeah. So we did lose it as it went on. And I kind of wonder if that was just so that things wouldn't be muddy, because I could see the movie getting super busy and too much after a certain point.
Right.
So I get it.
Yeah.
But I would have liked to have kept her in a little bit more.
If they found a way to do more voiceovers or something.
Yeah. And go on.
Oh no, I just agree. I agree.
No, yeah, I was just going to say the exact same thing twice because we aren't recording enough, I guess.
No, never.
No. 3 hours every time.
3 hours minimum. So yeah. I mean, so we kind of naturally can flow into the subject of want from there. There's a lot of things that Cheryl wants throughout the book that I don't think that same level of I don't even want to call it desire, right? Because desire feels too like sexual. But like there's just like this subject of like lack and want and need, and I don't think that all came through the movie enough. Like, do you think she was hungry enough in the movie?
No.
Me neither. I was like, the movie didn't make me want a burger or a Snapple lemonade. So
no, not at all. And I mean, I like that they kept those details in, but she got the lemonade and then sipped on it and was like, I'm satisfied. And then she had like one bag of chips and she's like, yep, that's all they need is this small handful of chips. And now I'm good to go. And that's not how it was. In the book, she described like, oh my God, we would get to a stop and then I had enough money. So I just like gorged myself on chips and candy and just all this crap that I wasn't filling myself up with like pre-PCT, but like I had an excuse. So I did it now. Like oh my God, the food that she described in the book was sexual to me. Like that. Yeah, ribs. Hell yeah, ribs. Smack that ass. Like I was into it. Like it was, she really wanted it. Like on a very deep primal level, she was wanting this food that she couldn't have because, she's in the middle of nowhere. And that didn't show up enough in the movie.
Yeah.
I don't think. Like I was anticipating her like, do you remember those old like Burger King commercials where they had like Paris Hilton or like some other like super sexy model and they were like half naked on a car and just like biting into these giant burgers? No. In my head while I was reading it, I was like, yeah, I get it, Cheryl. I understand. And so I was anticipating her like taking a big nasty bite out of something at some point in the movie.
She does really dig in at, what is it, Frank and Annette's house?
Frank and Annette. Yeah, she did there.
But after that point, she's like, okay, I'm like not hungry anymore.
I am satiated.
Right. No.
Yeah. It's like I'm 2 weeks in and I'm not hungry anymore.
Well, and like the unique not unique thing, but I guess the interesting thing is like she's so hungry and craves so much different kinds of food and everything on the trail, and really writes and talks a lot about that. But it's like juxtaposed with the fact that she has no money. She has 67 cents until her next box, which is, X miles
30
away.
miles away.
Not even
Yeah.
30 miles, like close to 100 miles away. Like poor gal.
Yeah.
And her feet. Oh my God. I mean, we did see like a toenail get ripped off in the movie, which was graphic
only
and
one.
gross, but only the one toenail. And I think she lost like all but two in the book.
Yeah.
Like I
Because
don't.
at one point she was like, toenails 5, Cheryl 5. We're tied. And then, yeah, she loses, I think. I mean, it was most of them. Like she was losing after, like toenails were winning.
Right.
Yeah.
Toenails
And that
did win in the end. I mean, I'm sure she has them all back now. I don't know. She was wearing like clogs when I met her, but very stylish clogs. Not sandals. It was June. She could have been wearing sandals.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe her toenails didn't grow back. Maybe she doesn't have toenails. It's all right, Cheryl. I don't have pinky toenails. I'll admit it.
I barely have pinky toenails. Like barely. I grow them out extra long so that I can paint them. They're like these little slivers. Like it's just, they're not.
I have to paint my skin. Like I just have a little crack in my pinky toes, and not really anything grows out of it. So
yeah, her describing her poor feet. Ugh, they were not nasty enough and they looked gross. Like they didn't make them pretty in the movie at all. But they weren't hurting enough.
Right.
I don't think they didn't go extreme enough on that.
No. I know you have feelings about the dialogue in the movie. Do you want to elaborate?
I hated it so much. I hate it. I just, God, whenever dialogue is like expositional and the characters aren't, and I'm not talking about the actors, I mean the characters. Whenever the characters aren't having a real conversation, whenever an actor says a line to the effect of, Dad's been dead since we were 18 years old, mother. That line, that kind of crap, whenever you're just trying to get information out to the audience, I understand the importance of it. I know that viewers need to know these things, but dear God, can we not come up with some other way to do this?
Yeah.
Because it's gross. People don't talk like that. And I know that most dialogue in movies are not a true reflection of how real people speak. I get it. But there's a line, and I feel like they just kept crossing it in this movie, specifically just the flashback scenes with her and her mother, or even with her and Paul, and just all of that. It just felt, it wasn't even a little bit natural. It was just like, what's the point of even having this scene? There's not the emotion in it because of the dialogue. It just, it wasn't there for me. I have opinions.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't like it.
I feel you.
Yeah.
It didn't bother me while watching the movie so much. I didn't pick up on it while watching the movie for some reason. I'm
like looking for it at this point. I think I'm doing it to myself to some degree.
Gotcha. I mean, I was fully engrossed in the movie. Like,
yeah,
there were times where I was like, oh shit, I should write that down. Okay, so we've covered some of the tiny details that made it into the movie. What are some others?
So there were a whole bunch of teeny tiny things that I think are extra special whenever you've read the book, because you know what they are. You know all this backstory and stuff, and that's really cool. So, like, for example, whenever in the movie, whenever Cheryl is visiting her mother who's dying in the hospital, and she's putting on her coat, and she says, I'll be back in the morning with Leaf. So, I'll be back. I love you. And then her mom only responds, love. And if you read the book, you would know that she only responded love because she's too tired and doesn't have the energy to say all of I love you. So she just says love. Oh, beautiful. Love it. So sweet.
So sweet. So sweet. And yeah, we have some other, like, Cheryl not only writes about, like, in the book, not only writes about what she's craving hunger wise, and she doesn't just write about the condition of her feet, but she also, like, gives us full descriptions of like what she's wearing, you know, like we're there, we see it. It's really easy to see in your mind's eye. It's not hard at all. So like the movie includes but doesn't like necessarily go into a few details, like she's wearing a William J. Crockett prisoner of war MIA bracelet. It's not talked about in the movie, but it is present. It's there. We can see it. In the book, she loses it at one point, right? And she doesn't find it again.
She doesn't
Em?
find it. She
Right, Em?
tries. Like she even described like she
Right.
put like I think she put Monster down and she was like digging through the brush. Like she was trying to find it. She was like further injuring herself trying to find this bracelet. And then finally she was like, okay, well, I need to keep walking, I guess. And I mean, she has to go. So she ends up leaving it
Right.
behind.
Yeah. So, we don't get that scene with the bracelet, but we do
She's
get
wearing
the
it.
bracelet, and that's an okay
Yeah.
substitute, I think. She's also wearing the necklace made from her mother's earring, although
You would just think
wouldn't
like,
know that
oh,
if you
look at
didn't
her
read the
wearing that
book.
lovely necklace.
Or, oh, interesting choice to be
Yeah.
wearing a necklace on a trail.
Which, oh God, I
to
would have been
hike
so scared
through
to wear that. I don't think I would have brought it with me.
and like
Yeah.
lose it. Yeah.
Terrifying.
Right? I would
Yeah,
have too. Yeah. I would have been afraid of losing it. And I don't really lose things
I
a
do.
lot
I
of
lose
times.
things all the
So that's
time.
weird.
I'm
I-
constantly shedding things.
Yeah. Life of a divorced kid, man. We know how to keep track of our shit because mom wants that shirt back at her house or whatever. You can't take those shoes over to your
Oh my
father's.
gosh.
I know where all my stuff is. It has a home. Anyway, we also see Cheryl wearing a Bob Marley t-shirt, which we don't see how it's given to her. Earlier mentioned Francisco / his nickname is Paco. He like gives it to her in like a stoned. They're both stoned scene, and he's like, you embrace the spirit of like the nature around you or something, and this t-shirt
Something very,
symbolizes
very
that.
fun and cheesy. Yeah.
That only makes sense when you're stoned. And she was also stoned, and she was like, yes. I remember she writes something about like, and I nodded with assurance in my stoned certitude or something like that. Like, so we get to see her wearing the t-shirt, but we don't get to see it being given to her. And then at one point she actually leaves it behind. I don't remember why
It
she
was
leaves
really
it behind,
wet and she hung it up on a tree to dry. Or she hung it up somewhere to leave it to dry.
Okay.
So we do see the shirt, but that's it. We just see that, oh, she's wearing a Bob Marley shirt. And that's it. We don't get the importance of it. We don't understand the magnitude of the Bob Marley shirt, and we don't see it get left behind. It's just a shirt in the movie. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, it's still a fun nugget for the people the book nerds.
It was
nugget
for
for
us.
the nerds.
It was for me and you, basically. Yeah.
It was. They knew.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Another detail that was left in the movie kind of was the fox. Actually, this red fox appears, and while she's in the snow on one of the mountains, and so this red fox shows up, and in the movie Cheryl yells at it, come back. And if you know foxes at all, that doesn't work. They don't come back to that. But in the book, she actually yells mom after the fox, which I feel like if she had yelled mom in the movie, I would have been like, this is cheesy. She didn't yell mom in the movie, did she?
No, she didn't yell mom in the movie, but she did say, Mom, come back.
Yeah, come back.
In the book.
Yes.
In the book. So she did say come back too, but we don't understand in the movie that that the fox represents her mother.
Yeah.
And like that's her knee-jerk reaction to seeing a fox is fox. Mom.
Mother. Yeah. Which I think that if I had watched the movie and I hadn't read the book and she yelled mother or mom after the fox, I'd have been like, that's cheesy.
Yeah.
I think that's what would have happened to me because I'm very cynical. And I can't just let things be lovely.
I think if they'd like tied it to like if we just had a flashback before or something about her mom, like with her
That
and
could
her
have
mom,
worked.
then we got that scene. I might have been like, this is less cheesy.
Hmm.
But also I can totally understand like after my dad died, people were like, well, if you see a red cardinal, like they're supposed to be a symbol of past loved ones or whatever. And so like in like the week after my dad, I saw like 12 red cardinals. And I was like, hey dad, how's it going? Do you like being a bird?
Oh my God.
So we also get another really important detail I think that we do get in the movie that's in the book is Cheryl has this mantra for herself, I would say, throughout the trail of just, I'm not afraid, even though she most certainly is afraid.
Oh yeah.
Because things crack and creak and whatever in the
Uh,
night, and you're out in the woods and you're
yeah.
isolated and
Have you ever been outside at night? It's not
right.
okay.
I don't even like walking my dog at night. Like I
Yeah.
won't do it on the road that's by our house. Like I won't take him for a proper walk after dark, which is sucks for him because it gets dark at like 5 now or 4:30.
Hmm.
But Adam does it. Bless his heart. But yeah, no, I mean the yard's fine, but I don't trust people after dark
Yeah.
either. So, but yeah, so we get to see that refrain or that mantra. It comes in the movies. And in the movie we do get to see her being, super confident one moment and then she's, scared. Like we get to witness both of those like emotions and that ebb and flow.
Hmm.
So I think they did a great job of rounding her out in that way.
I kind of wish it was a little bit more severe because it was like almost in the same sentence in the book
True.
where she would be like, it kind of, I don't want to bring up Disney, but I'll bring up Disney. Kind of like, do you remember the movie Tangled?
Yeah.
And how she's walking outside with Flynn Rider for the first time and she's like, this is amazing. And then she immediately turns to, this is bad. Woohoo, I'm having fun. Oh my God, everything sucks. That's how Cheryl in the book felt. And I kind of wish that it was a little bit, I wish that the peaks and valleys were just a touch more severe. Not a lot, because I think it wouldn't translate as well. I don't think it would have been as believable had it been as severe as I was taking it in the movie. But I kind of wish it was just a little bit more, just a touch. Because she was feeling like supremely confident one minute and then just immediately like, I am stupid the next.
Right.
Like she used the phrase like, I am a big dumb idiot. Even like she feels so ridiculous.
Yeah.
So it was there, but I would have liked a touch more.
All right, Em, why were there so many mean people in the movie?
I think a lot of it was just like the portrayal and the choices that the actors made.
Yeah.
But even in the book, like she even says the line whenever she gets back on the trail and she meets this couple that's like taking care of the campsite, and she just needs a place. It's nighttime. She was setting up camp and she didn't have money to pay for it, and they like basically ran her off, more or less. I mean, the one woman yelled at her and was like, "We're not saying you have to leave. We're saying you have to pay." So I mean, she was mean in the book, but immediately in this scene, Cheryl says, like, before these two, everybody that I met has been nothing but kind. And I feel like the kindness that she experienced in real life in the book wasn't portrayed well in the movie. Because even like, so the scene with the Hobo Times guy, Jimmy Carter, no relation, right? In the book, he was annoying. It was kind of funny. It was a funny scene. And then in the movie, it was just like, who does this guy think he is? Like, it was just straight up. It made me see red. I was pretty angry about it. So, I mean, I was so mad about it in the movie that I forgot that it even happened in the book. I was like, this is ridiculous. And yeah, you had to remind me. And then we found it again.
Yeah, it didn't bother me in the movie, but I don't think that they made it as funny in the movie as it could have been. And that's where, like, I feel like the Cheryl in the movie is she's a full
Yeah.
character. She's a full person. She's fully like she's well rounded, but they really focus on the like loneliness and like maybe the anger that comes with like grief and
Yeah.
loss and everything, and not so much like the humor and like the openness to letting like the world and people like delight you, which in the book, that's how I feel. And that's how I feel about travel a lot of times. Like when I went to Australia, I just was kind of like, I approached Australia with like an open mind. And honestly, it just felt like the country, everything I did was just like trying to like romance me and like delight me. And, I didn't really face any hardship or anything. I mean, I wasn't through hiking anything. I wasn't in the outback that much, but like it was just a really magical trip for me, travel period. And I think that's the magic of like through hiking and like the kinship with everybody. Like we're missing a level of that, I
Yeah,
think,
you
from the
keep using
movie.
the word magic. It's missing the magic of it. It is.
Yeah.
So that's
And I think it's because they wanted to focus on the grittier aspects, of the same source material, right? Cheryl's book is magical, but it is also extremely gritty. It really gets into grief and loss and loneliness and, the grittiness of drug use and infidelity and destroying a marriage. And they chose it's hard to make a movie that does that and is also like la-di-da, I'm on this trail and I'm the queen of the PCT and people just give me things because I am the queen.
in the movie we were experiencing 1995 Cheryl. We were experiencing that. We weren't getting the, years later writer Cheryl who's had time to process things. So
Yeah, but even 1995 Cheryl still, I mean, the Three Young Bucks gave her the trail name of Queen of the PCT because people were just giving her stuff left and right. And they're like, nobody's giving us anything. And it's like, well, yeah, you're Three Young Bucks. They don't think you need anything. She's a single lady before cell phones were really a thing. I think it's just, and then there was that lipstick sales lady. Like in the movie, she was straight up rude.
she was so mean. I'm like, don't you work on
And in the book, she was just like,
don't you
work on commission?
Yes. In the book, I'm sure she was thinking the exact same things that she said in the movie. Because in the movie, she was like, I think you need to focus on your hygiene, you disgusting troll. But in the book, she was like, yeah, it's a really great color on you. And then in her head, she was probably thinking, well, she wasn't even dirty in the book. She had taken a shower first, hadn't she? I don't remember. Yeah.
Right. In the book, she'd already been to the hostel and she'd cleaned up. I don't know if she'd had to redress in her trail clothes or if she'd been able to redress in or get dressed in fresh clothes. I can't remember which it was. But regardless, she'd at least had a shower and that helps. So, she was kind of unnecessarily rude.
I think what the movie was trying to do was, I mean, along with like the pain and everything else that they were showing us, I think they were trying to remind us that she's really gross right now.
Mm-hmm.
She's not Reese Witherspoon, who had a shower the night before and then showed up to work and got in makeup and stuff. She's Cheryl Strayed and she hasn't bathed in 3 weeks. Because whenever she gets picked up by Frank, and goes to Frank and Lynette and Annette's house, and they feed her at the beginning. And in the movie, Annette lays down newspaper for her to put her dirty butt on at the kitchen table. And like, she didn't do it like, I mean, like, I think she even said like, no offense, and then put it down. And that's so damn funny.
Right.
But that didn't, at least it wasn't mentioned in the book. So just, I think part of it was that they were trying to remind us, the audience, that she's really gross right now.
Right.
But just remember that you can't smell through your TV, but if you could, we would have added that.
Right. Well, and I think it's also like a level of suspension of disbelief. Like that's a factor in films as well as in writing. And in nonfiction, you have to earn it. You have to earn the ethos with your readers. And she certainly does that. I believe her that so many people were so kind and gave her all the things. In the movie, you've got less time. and it's harder to like show that and build that ethos, I imagine.
Yeah.
So it'd be really hard to suspend our disbelief that she walks into a store looking like she did and somebody wasn't going to be a mean bitch about how she smelled or something.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be harder to suspend our disbelief that instead she was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's a lovely shade on you.
Mm.
So let's talk about accessibility and hiking and outdoors. So Em, how do you think you would hike the PCT considering your medications?
Okay, so I have a lot of things going on, and one of the medications that I take is actually a biologic called 𝘞𝘪𝘭𝘥. Uh, and even though I'm not planning a through hike, and I haven't even gone on a hike in a few years, I have been using the fact that I am on 𝘞𝘪𝘭𝘥 as an excuse for me to never plan uh, hiking the PCT, even though that's totally up my alley. I was an outdoor child, so it's something I'd like to think about. So I actually went on Reddit because Reddit's useful for this sort of thing, and I went on the PCT subreddit and I asked a question about refrigerated medications, and what other people have done or seen done. Because my medication, it can only stay in a certain temperature range. It can only be out of the fridge for 14 days before it can't be used anymore. And I did get some answers, and they were varied. One commenter said, "Oh, you could probably just use your sleeping bag," because they were able to keep cream cheese wrapped for, I don't know why.
Ew.
That's not what I would pack to go hiking for days, but they just wrapped the cream cheese in their sleeping bag and they let it sit out in the cold air at night, and then they would dunk it in ice water, I guess, or something to keep it in temperature. And they said it was delicious the entire time. And I'm like, that doesn't sound safe for my 𝘞𝘪𝘭𝘥, and it also grosses me out food safety wise. But it did give me hope for the other options. Another commenter, or actually several commenters, all talked about this thing called the Frio wallet. It keeps medications within a temperature range of 66 degrees Fahrenheit and 79 degrees Fahrenheit. And I would just have to be careful because 𝘞𝘪𝘭𝘥 has a maximum temperature of 78 degrees, and it also can't freeze. So there's these little paper things with dots on them. It's called a temperature dot. So I would probably keep a temperature dot in there with my medication, and then if it turns red, that means it's out of temp and it can't be used anymore. But quite a few people know somebody with diabetes, and they use the Frio wallet for their insulin and stuff, and then they just stop at different pharmacies at different towns and stuff along the way. But unfortunately, biologics are considered a specialty medication, and you don't pick them up at regular pharmacies. It's a specialty medication, so you have to get it from a specialty pharmacy, and it gets mailed to you. You just don't really pick it up unless you just so happen to live next to a specialty pharmacy, and I don't. So I would have to have the medication mailed to me along the stops, and I would need to pick it up every 14 days. And that's terrifying because packages get lost in the mail all the freaking time.
Yeah.
And I double check the cost for my meds. I do a shot every week, not every other week. So it's around 12 grand every month.
Holy
And if I lose one or it goes out of temperature, then I'm pretty much out of luck. It's not going to happen. A nurse actually commented on the post. She's on biologics, and she did get them shipped to her while she hiked the Appalachian Trail, and it worked fine for her. I'm just worried because, unlike the movie, it was not a smooth process for Cheryl to get her boots from REI.
Right.
It got a little bit funky. She had to make adjustments to accommodate for that. It wasn't like in the movie where she immediately showed up and they had it and it was cool. It was great. The book was getting kind of spooky, and I don't think I would be able to emotionally handle that with my medication. So it makes me really wary of receiving the super expensive medication to several different locations that I've never been to before. Anyway, the best answer was my favorite answer, and it's not going to work for me. I'm not smart enough. Best answer was from a man who met another man who he suspected was probably an engineer. He had a really big Stanley thermos, and it was rigged up with an internal thermometer and just cold water. And the thermometer, it was wireless, and it actually like communicated with his cell phone. So it would send him a text whenever the water was like getting like approaching unsafe temperatures, and he knew that he only had a few minutes and he had to get more cold water to put into the thermos to get it back to the correct temperature. So that's really cool, but I think it's above my pay grade a touch. I'm not stupid, but I don't know. I just don't trust it enough for myself. All that to say, knowing what I know now and that people have made it work before, I think it kind of takes away my excuse to not do a through hike.
Yeah, I mean, there's also accessibility barriers, like the cost to participate. So
Mm-hmm.
I did a lot of research into the cost and like a little bit of planning into what it would take to through hike the Colorado Trail, which is like 485 miles in Colorado. And it's expensive. Shocker.
Yeah.
I mean, a good sleeping bag could be $200 to $300. A good pack could be $300+ A good sleeping pad is a couple $100 potentially, or you can get a cheaper sleeping pad and deal with it. Camping stove over $100. Boots close to $200 depending on your boots. And
Oh, I still have my
if you
boots.
want to be a light packer or ultra light, like there are different classifications for what those mean. But if you want an ultra light sleeping bag, that's even more money because it's still supposed to be rated for this certain temperature range, but they had to use more expensive products. I don't know. Sometimes I think there's just like an ultra light markup type of thing. Of course, there's all your food, which in the book, Cheryl writes about how she learned how to dehydrate her own like tuna or whatever.
Yeah.
So either you're learning how to make your own food and pack your own like dehydrated meals, or you are buying those, and those aren't cheap. Like it's like $12 per serving or something insane like that. I don't know. Don't quote me on that one. But it might only be like $8 per serving, but it's not cheap
It's
for
a
the
lot.
dehydrated meals. And you've got fuel to consider, not to mention
Paying your rent back home or your
paying your
mortgage
bills while you're
and
gone.
your student loans, etc.
Right. And then like the cost of mailing all of these things to yourself, or having somebody mail it. Obviously you don't want them to have to pay for that. Ends up being a big ordeal. Oh, bear spray, that needs to be a budget line in your budget, because if you're hiking anywhere with bears, and it's like $50 for a can of bear spray, or at least it was
Mm-hmm.
last time I had to buy bear spray. I'm still on the same can. I don't know if it expires or not. Thankfully, I've never had to use it on a bear.
Yeah.
So,
No, its cost is definitely, and it's a lot of things that you wouldn't necessarily think of.
right, it all adds up.
So it's
Um,
a lot.
so yeah, all the gear, all the hiking clothes, you want quick dry stuff, you want enough socks. Um,
Cheryl makes a pretty good list in the beginning of the book.
she does.
She
But also it was for
overpacked.
the 90s, and like
Mm-hmm.
there's different gear out now.
Yeah.
And potentially like better suited gear out now. So
I love shopping for this kind of stuff. I don't really, I mean, I have like some hiking and camping gear. I love just looking at it.
yeah.
Oh, that's one of me and Jason's like favorite hobbies. We'll like be at the mall and he's like, "Do you want to go into Dick's?" And I'm like, "Oh, I want to go into Dick's." And we'll just go in there and look at stuff.
Right.
Oh, buying camping gear and buying hiking stuff is its own hobby separate from the actual camping and hiking.
Right. It is.
Yeah.
So
Do you want to talk about uh the accessibility of the outdoors to people of color?
yeah, I mean, unfortunately, the outdoors are not safe always for people of color, or perhaps rarely safe for people of color. There are just numerous, hundreds upon hundreds of stories of, especially like Black people out in nature, just enjoying nature, living their lives. They're in a public place, they're allowed to be there. They're not trespassing, they're not doing anything wrong. They're fishing or looking at birds or God forbid,
hiking or camping
hiking.
or just trying to be there,
Right.
doing the exact same stuff as everybody else around them.
Right. And then assholes are like, I'm going to call the cops on you. And it's like, no, you shouldn't be doing that.
Mhm.
Have every right to be here just as much as you do. So, yeah, that's another barrier to accessibility. I would hope that major trails like the PCT and like the Appalachian Trail, or AKA the AT, I would hope that those are safer. But honestly, I don't know.
I don't know, every article that I've looked up had something along the lines of bad things happen in the woods.
Well, shit.
So, I think it's no matter where the woods are, historically, it's been proven to be a pretty dangerous place.
Yeah. So that's bleak, and unfortunate because everybody deserves to enjoy nature, and participate
Mhm.
in nature and preservation of nature. So,
Well, I mean, people of color, women of color, and then women in general, because even in the book and the movie, those 2 hunters
right.
showed up, and
One of them was creepy.
one of them was very creepy. That was not a safe situation to be in, and she was by herself.
Yeah. With
So,
no type of like weapon to be used, just a really loud whistle. The world's loudest whistle.
yeah.
So
In your research, what else did you find that didn't make it into the book?
So I found this really cool article from Oprah.com about 7 things that didn't make it into Wild. So these are things that didn't make it into the actual book. Um, but so therefore I don't think, I mean, they weren't in the movie either, but one of the things was a scene when she was living with her ex-husband in Brooklyn, and they found a couple of kittens inside like the walls in their bedroom closet, and they like broke those kittens out of the walls, and they were emaciated, and they just looked like they'd been lost in there in the building for weeks and weeks. Um, and in the Oprah.com article, she says that just finding them was symbolic in a lot of ways about who we were and what was happening in our marriage at the time. The 2 of us were like those kittens lost in the innards of the building. We couldn't
Aw.
find our way out, but I couldn't get the scene to work within the trajectory of the story, so I took it out, which was so, so, so painful. And yeah, I can see that. That's like totally a kill your darlings kind of thing. So that's one of them. There was a couple that's not in the book. There were trail people that she met people she met along the trail who fed her. So it's a little surprising they weren't in the book, because that's pretty important. And they actually came to like one of her book signings, and later on after the book had been published. So that's pretty cool. She also left out details about her eating disorder in high school. So, and I think that she kind of gets into the reason why she left that out was that it didn't evolve into mental illness, requiring her to be institutionalized or battle it for her whole life. But you know, for a time in her life, she did have a totally messed up relationship with beauty and her body. But she feels like she has a healthy relationship with her body as an adult. So that seemed like a less important thing to include. But, and I think really importantly, actually, and we were talking about this, but, you know, she does heroin for a relatively short period of time in one's life, but I mean, we don't know exactly how long she was doing heroin for. It
Yeah,
seemed like at least a few weeks and doing
long
heroin
enough.
daily, right?
She was doing it long enough.
But this Oprah.com article says like one of the things she left out is like the reason she didn't have to go through drug rehab. And what the article says is, I'm going to just read it. I was using heroin every day, but not for a long time. It was more, I really want to use it, but not, I have the shakes, I have to use it. Now, if I had kept using it, I would have absolutely continued to become an addict like the guy I called Joe in the book. For 10 years, he was a serious addict. The last time we talked, he'd been in rehab for a year and gotten clean, but who knows? I was pulled out at the right moment. I dodged a bullet. So,
Oh, yeah.
I think.
Well, and worked in the restaurant industry for like a decade. I'm familiar, and I haven't ever done it. I'm not speaking from my experience. I'm speaking from everybody around me, basically, right? It is a painkiller. It was originally used in medicine as a painkiller. That's what it is. And it's not immediately an addicting substance the way that they described it to us in Dare. I mean, like, you use it once, you're like, oh, that was amazing. And from the descriptions I've heard of it, it sounds awesome. We're not doing it. Sounds wonderful. You do it once and you're like, oh, I'm not addicted. This is fine. I can probably get away with it again. That was wonderful. So then you do it again. And then eventually you just do too much. And then you find yourself addicted. Nobody sets out to become an addict, And whenever I read it, I didn't even know anything that you just said. I didn't find that article first. As I was reading it, I was like, oh, she was just flirting with it almost. But yeah, I didn't read it as her being a full-blown addict. And I think because we didn't have that much interiority in the movie, and because we didn't have her saying, giving us these details or anything, it made it seem like she was a hardcore junkie for a minute in the movie.
It did.
And maybe she was doing it that often and that quickly in succession. She was, but we don't have like a time frame reference for it, I guess, in the movie.
Right. What's also left out of the book was the story behind meeting her husband. Essentially, she had like another thing, like she had casual sex with him kind of before they were like official and fell madly in love with each other. And she was like, I'm past that point in my life. I don't want to do that anymore. So she didn't really like include a lot about her husband. At the end of the book, we get this beautiful like explosion forward of like, in this exact spot, I won't know, like 4 years from now, this will happen. And 8 years from now, this will happen, and yada, yada, but we get that because as a writer, she's writing it with enough perspective, looking backwards, that she can give that to us in a beautiful like page. And it feels just satiating.
Summed up lovely, put a bow on it.
Good ending. And then the last thing in the article is about the wildest thing that's happened since the book came out. And that was that she was at a reading in St. Paul, Minnesota, and she read a section that included a reference to the prisoner of war / missing in action bracelet that she wore on the trail and belonged to William J. Crockett. When she got back to her hotel, a woman who had been sitting in the audience emailed her and was like, oh my gosh, my coworker is William J. Crockett's sister. So the sister and Cheryl got in touch. The sister told her about William's death and how important he was to her. And she said, I haven't read the book, but I take it that his name on your bracelet offered you some sort of encouragement and strength. And I'm so glad to hear that. So that's a wild,
freaking
crazy,
beautiful
stuff comes back to you in life. So just beautiful.
So Jen, I have to ask our final question.
Yeah.
Are you a book nerd or a movie buff?
I'm definitely a book nerd, hands down, just because.
Oh, same. Yeah.
Writing, so beautiful, so eloquent. Do love the movie. Movie is great in its own way, but would have to pick the book every time. So, yeah. I
have to pick the book too.
Totally.
It's just, I will be reading it again.
Yeah, my copy.
Yeah, your copy.
It's all right. I bought another one.
I know you did. You bought the same one. I'm going to come and steal that one too. More shoplifting.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's yours now. Put your stamp in it.
Thank you for listening to Book Club,
the movie, the podcast. Watch for new episodes out the third Thursday of each month.
You can find us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen.
Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Book Club the Movie. You can also find us on Patreon, Facebook, or on our website, bookclubthemovie.com.
This podcast was created and produced by Jen Moyer and M. Lord. Our music and mixing is by Jason Lord of Studio Topaz.
Voice acted by Ethan Gallardo.
And we just want to give a big thank you to our friends and family for your love and support.
And thank you, dear listener, for joining our book club.
See you next time, nerds!
And buffs.
Bye!
So, Wild. It's a book published by Cheryl Strayed. Yes, it is pronounced Strayed. Embarrassingly, in undergrad, before I'd read the book and understood that she changed her name intentionally to Strayed and covers that actually in Wild, I thought it was some weird Norwegian name, and so I pronounced it Strayed, or I don't even know. And I was like, they were like, "You mean Cheryl Strayed?" And I was like, "Oh, so it is Strayed." Yes, it is Cheryl Strayed.
That's okay. One time I was talking about a different book. It was The Sisters Antipodes, which is a Greek word.
Mm-hmm.
And I was at the dog park and I was talking to Greg and Julia and I was like, yeah, I'm reading this really great book. It's called The Sisters Antipodes. And I just kept talking about it. I'm like, yeah, antipodes. And then Julia, bless her heart, she didn't say anything to me. She turned to Greg and she was like, isn't it pronounced Antipodes? And I was just like, shoot me in the face. I'm stupid.
Yeah. That's like, I mean, it's Greek. It's a little bit harder. Mine was just like, just read the word. What's the word? The word is strayed. Pronounce it like it's the word, not something else. Anyway.